We think we know our cats, right? I mean, they're fluffy, they purr, they find that one perfect sunbeam to nap in. But what if I told you that living in your house is a super athlete with a sensory world that's almost beyond our comprehension? Okay, let's dive in and uncover the real secret life of your feline friend.
So what's with this number? Believe it or not, that is the percentage of DNA that our domestic cats share with us humans. And what's really wild is that this makes them genetically closer to us than dogs are. So you know that feeling you get that you and your cat are just on the same wavelength? Yeah, turns out it's not just in your head.
All right, so let's get past that cute and fluffy exterior for a minute. In this first section, we're going to explore some biological facts that prove there's so much more to your cat than meets the eye.
Okay, first things first, let's bust a huge myth. We've all seen it in cartoons and old movies, but giving your adult cat a saucer of milk is actually a really bad idea. You see, just like a lot of humans, most cats lose the ability to digest lactose as they grow up, and that can lead to a very upset stomach.
Now here's a truly incredible survival skill your cat has tucked away. Their kidneys are so ridiculously efficient, they can actually filter the salt out of seawater to rehydrate themselves. Now look, don't go replacing their water bowl with salt water or anything, but it's this amazing little glimpse into their desert-dwelling ancestry.
And here are just a few more quick-fire facts that make them so unique. That cute little nose, well, its pattern of ridges and bumps is totally one of a kind, just like a human fingerprint. And if you ever see little damp paw prints on a hot day, it's because that's one of the few places they can actually sweat. And that sandpaper tongue? It's perfectly designed with tiny hooks for grooming and, well, for cleaning meat right off the bone.
So we know they have some pretty unique biology. Now let's see how that biology creates what is basically a biomechanical marvel. In this next section, we're going to look at your cat not just as a pet, but as a perfectly engineered athlete, breaking down the anatomical secrets behind their incredible physical feats.
A huge part of their agility comes down to this one thing, the free-floating collarbone. Unlike our collarbones, which are firmly anchored to our skeleton, a cat's is just kind of floating there, connected only by muscle. And this single piece of anatomy gives them a very specific, and let's be honest, a very familiar superpower. I think you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yep, that's the one. This is exactly why if a cat can get its head through a gap, its body can almost always follow. That unattached collarbone just lets their shoulders compress and slide right on through. It's pretty much their secret key to the entire house. And what about their vertical skills? Well, an average cat can leap 5 to 6 times its own body length straight up. To put that in perspective, that's like an average person jumping onto the roof of a one-story building in a single bound. All that incredible power comes from their muscular hind legs, combined with this amazing inner ear system that fuels their righting reflex, which helps them twist in midair to always land on their feet. Okay, so they're biological marvels, and they're incredible athletes. But this next section, this is where things get truly mind-bending. You see, cats perceive the world in ways that are almost alien to us, through a whole set of super senses that define their very existence.
Just take their hearing. As this chart shows, we humans, we top out at about 20,000 hertz. A cat can hear sounds all the way up to 64,000 hertz. That is 3 times higher. They can hear the high-pitched squeak of a mouse from rooms away, a sound that to us is happening in complete and total silence.
Now here's something that completely challenges a common assumption. We all think dogs have the best sense of smell, right? Well, when it comes to telling the difference between various scents, cats might actually have them beat. This chart shows they have 30 of these specific V1R proteins. These are scent receptors that help distinguish chemical cues. For comparison, a dog has 9. So they're not just smelling, they're analyzing their world in high definition.
And they have a secret tool for it. Have you ever seen your cat make that strange, sneering face? That's called the Fleeman response. What they're doing is drawing a scent across a special organ on the roof of their mouth to get a much more detailed picture than their nose alone can ever provide.
But, there's always a trade-off. For all their sensory advantages, cats are actually pretty nearsighted. An object that we could see clearly from 100 feet away would have to be just 20 feet away for a cat to see it with that same kind of clarity. But they totally compensate for that with their whiskers. These aren't just for show. They're finely tuned sensors. They help them measure openings and detect tiny shifts in air currents. And get this, they even have a secret set on the back of their front legs to help them track the position and movement of prey they've captured. All right, we've explored their bodies and their incredible senses. For our final section, let's look at how they use all of this to communicate their complex inner world to us.
Okay, this one might genuinely shock you. We think of dogs as being pretty vocal, but it turns out they only make about 10 distinct sounds. Cats? They can make around 100 different vocalizations. They have a massive vocabulary, but the real question is, who are they talking to?
The answer is us. While little kittens meow at their mothers, adult cats almost never meow at each other. They basically learn that their other chirps, hisses, and growls just don't work on the clueless humans they live with. So they adapted, and they developed the meow specifically to get our attention.
And just like us, cats have dominant boss. The split is pretty even, as you can see, but some studies have found a really fascinating gender difference. Female cats tend to be right pod, while male cats are much more likely to be left pod. So next time your cat reaches for a toy, see if you can spot which one they prefer. Finally, let's decode a few key behaviors. That purr isn't always a sign of pure happiness. It can also be a way for a cat to self-soothe when they're stressed or even in pain. That kneading thing they do, making biscuits, is a comforting behavior left over from when they were kittens. And yes, they absolutely recognize your voice. They're just, choosing not to respond, as cats do.
So after all of that, what's the big takeaway here? We've busted some myths, we've explored their incredible athletic abilities, and we've uncovered this hidden sensory world. It really all points to one simple but powerful conclusion.
That little creature sleeping on your couch is not just a pet. It's an evolutionary masterpiece, a finely tuned athlete with a secret language and a perception of reality that we can only, maybe, begin to imagine.
Think about it. They have adapted to live with us. They even developed a special language just for our benefit. They learned to speak our language. So the real question is, are we trying to listen to theirs?